Oh boy, do I have some thoughts on this. Well, it's about that time of the year again where another season of Rainbow Six Siege is out, and of course we get those early on patch notes and discussion boards of top issues that are going on in the game right now. And overall, I do think that the new season, Shadow Legacy, has been a very successful season of Rainbow Six Siege. I think it's been very exciting, great new content, great new additions. There's a lot to love about this season, but there's also a lot of long-standing issues and new issues that people have with the game that are just they're not too fun. So let's check out their latest blog post from Ubisoft talking about the big issues, the top issues plaguing the game right now. All right, so the top issues and community concerns. I'm gonna have the link to this listed in the description down below, so you can click on this and see all these things for yourself. In case I don't go into great much detail about certain things that don't particularly interest me or not my top concern, like the random select. They're looking into it for the map ban system, the map pool representation, yada yada yada. All this stuff. This is stuff I deem that they will eventually get it fixed, or things have already been fixed. So it is what it is in that regard. But here is the important thing I wanted to talk about today: mouse and keyboard on consoles. Because as you know, I'm a proud, true console player. However, I still play the game on PC from time to time, very rare, but I still try because I'm still trying to, brush up on my mouse and keyboard skills. But I practice on PC, not console, because I'm not a degenerate. Let's see here. So, mouse and keyboard on consoles. Description: we continue our investigation on the topic. We are currently gathering information as well as technical data to gauge how widespread these adapters are, and if we can detect them in a reliable manner. Status: ongoing. That's their big, that's Ubisoft's big statement. That's them standing up and saying, "Hey guys, we're looking into this." That's what they're saying to the whole entire player base, to the people that they deem as cheaters for using mouse and keyboard on consoles. We're looking into this. We're trying to find a way to do it. Here's my problem, right? Years back on a podcast, one of the producers in the game, one of the developers in the game, ended up saying that they deem mouse and keyboard on console as cheating. But, these trash companies like Exim or whatever it's called, they make these third-party adapters, these softwares that people pay for, that end up getting updated, that go past any algorithm that would detect that they are using a mouse and keyboard. And that's where the issue lies, is that they can't reliably detect that, because in order to combat something like that, and not just release a patch on their end that would end up getting updated by the degenerate hackers and the degenerates who update these pieces of equipment. The problem that ends up happening is that they actually need to consult with Microsoft and PlayStation to implement a change in the system completely, right? They need cooperation between both of the publishers of the developers of these consoles, in order to figure out some sort of update, some algorithm or something like that, to detect when mouse and keyboard third-party softwares are being used when they're not supposed to be, right? And are being used to bypass these things. Because if you plug in a regular mouse and keyboard, it won't work. But with these third-party softwares, it does. And the issue is that they've claimed for the longest time is that, well, this has to be worked out alongside Microsoft and PlayStation. And that was years ago. That's why you can never bring it up when you're trying to talk about it in forums, when you try to talk about it in subreddits, certain YouTube channels. It doesn't matter. That's why the issue always gets shot down, where they're like, immediately we're placing the blame on Microsoft and PlayStation. That's where the blame lies, and that's it. And that's the end of the discussion. No one wants to have this discussion about, well, why isn't anything being attempted by Ubisoft? What exact information have they been gathering over these years? Have they not seen the growth of this thing that's grown like a cancer inside of the community, where it keeps on spreading and more people are using these third-party softwares? And in their statement, they're just now saying they're trying to gauge how bad it is. Well, as a console player, if you need a third-party opinion about how bad it is, it's pretty bad. And people have been forced to not talk about it. I mean, there are very few people who would, a person like Get Flanked would make a video about something like a mouse and keyboard on console like once a year. Icy Cat was a big defender of the console community. Pengu made a statement about it when he was talking about the we need to fix Siege, his big video that blew up. But besides that, there are very few champions of console. Console is like this forgotten about land, and any issues that we end up having just don't really go addressed. Imagine when the serious hacking issues were going on PC, if they just didn't say anything. Not that they weren't working on it, but they weren't saying anything. And then like 2.5 years later, all they say is, well, we're trying to see how bad the hacking issue is on PC. It's pretty bad. I don't play that much on PC, but I take the word of the community to know that the hacking is really bad on the PC side of things. So why, I don't understand why the same treatment is being given to console players. We make up the biggest demographic of all the players on the game, but yet we're like the second-hand thought that ends up coming up when the developers end up thinking about Rainbow Six Siege. The only time that a lot of thought is given into console is when they think about, maybe we should dial back some recoil on certain guns because it's a little bit unmanageable on sticks, and that's about it. Beyond that, not much thought is really given to the balancing that comes to console, whether it's even talking about little things like, maybe there should be a little bit of an adjustment to the hitbox on drones on console. It's a menial thing, kind of a meaningless discussion, but it's a discussion nonetheless people have talked about, because it is genuinely harder to get that pinpoint accuracy to hit drones in Rainbow Six Siege, because they're much harder to hit on console as compared to PC. So it's just one of those things where it's like, there are so many different conversations that could be had, but aren't being had on console because it's always the second thought. And it's the most frustrating and annoying thing. Everything from the balancing is done by the Diamond PC players, everything from Pro League PC players. There is very little input that is actually taken by the largest player base of their game, which makes absolutely no sense to me. Regardless, this is such a frustrating situation to be in, where now it's a top issue once the issue has gone way too far. There was never any talks about like, hey, we hear what you guys are saying. We're having conversations with Microsoft and PlayStation, trying to figure out what we can do. There's no action that's been taken. If you consider it cheating, and cheating, is something that, breaks your code of conduct or your player agreement when we buy this game and we agree to all your user agreement stuff. If cheating is something that breaks that, what about all these YouTubers that are popping up now and getting famous because they are exploiting the game and using a mouse and keyboard on console? Why aren't we banning their accounts, making examples of them saying, hey, we don't want you in our game. What you're doing is actually violating what we've said are our rules. Something, say anything. I need you to say something. I don't know how the song goes, but you get exactly what I mean. It's just a frustrating situation. It's just like, this is your first real statement on any public forum, not a podcast or any of that stuff, is, I see how bad it is. It's really, really bad. I can tell you that much. Maybe they have something they've been working on for years in the background, but have just been dead silent on it about it, and behind the scenes, but I highly doubt it. And that's the frustrating thing, is like, It's a multi-billion-dollar company, and Ubisoft overall, that makes multi-millions of dollars on this game alone and microtransactions. Because let's not forget, they'll take our microtransactions and they'll take us buying their skins, but they won't listen to us as console players. Absolutely, it's just kind of shameful after a certain point. It just really is. There's so many issues that PC has had to deal with, and they have demanded change, and they have gotten change, and then, you know, the issues come back. Inconsistencies in sound, and inconsistencies with damage, and hitbox registration, and all that stuff, and DDoSing and hacking. Those issues do come back, but they sometimes get them changed, right? And I'm only this passionate because I care about the game so much, and I want this game to be a better experience on console. And here's the problem now. We're at the point where mouse and keyboard on console has become so widespread of an issue. It's kind of like, I'm not sure where you can cut it out, you know? It's grown so much and festered inside of the community. All these little degenerates who sit around with their little third-party softwares and scratch their butt cheeks and play mouse and keyboard on console. All these things have been building up for so long. I don't know how you get them out of the community, or how do you change things from this point on, because there's multiple solutions of what ends up happening. Number one thing that ends up happening, Ubisoft just calls it an L. They call it a dub. It is what it is. You're just SOL playing on console. It's just playing a PC, but with, you know, with a restricted field of view, right? That's just what happens. That's one avenue. We just lose. That's it. Ubisoft officially announces that nothing they can do. I quit playing Rainbow Six Siege. Then a whole bunch of other people quit playing Rainbow Six Siege, and we move on with our lives because we're not gonna pay. You're not gonna be one of those degenerates who pay money so they can play mouse and keyboard on console. Okay. Avenue number two. With the awakening or the bringing of the new console generation, all this sort of stuff, a PlayStation 5 has more strict guidelines with dealing with mouse and keyboard. All right. So maybe, or an Xbox Series X, it is a lot harder to do that, or darn near impossible. Who knows? That's avenue number two. All right, we got two so far. Avenue number three. We enable crossplay. All right, amongst all of this, Xbox, PC, all that stuff, we enable crossplay, and we give an honest avenue to say, hey, you can disable your third-party system, just plug in your mouse and keyboard. We put you in a separate lobby, a separate queue, just how something like Call of Duty does, right? It's way more expensive. Ubisoft is notoriously cheap. Likelihood of that happening is very low, but that's one thing to say, look, we help you have a come to Jesus moment, and you do the right thing, and you play the game honestly, and you stay in your separate servers. We acknowledge that you are a massive part of the community now. There's no cutting you out like the disease that you are. We'll have you in separate lobbies and enable crossplay. And then option number 4. This is the option I like the least, but I think is still an option and something that needs to be considered. You enable aim assist on console. I don't like that at all, one bit whatsoever. You know, I love Call of Duty for what it is, and it's something I play a lot and all that stuff, and the aim assist and all that jazz. The aim assist helps you keep up, and some will say, PC side, that it's way too overpowered when playing Call of Duty or playing Warzone. That it's way too overpowered, but it gives you a fighting chance against PC players, right? When it comes to aim assist. And that's something that, even though it sucks to hear, it's something that has to be kept in mind, because here's the thing. We love Rainbow Six Siege because it's competitive and it pushes you, and it's just your raw skill and your raw tactics of you and your team against another team. And that's what we love about the game. And that's what makes it so exhilarating and so fun. And for console, it's so difficult to get your aim exactly where it needs to be, but that's part of the fun. Or at least for me personally, it is, to improve. But the problem is with mouse and keyboard players, there's a brick wall of you going up in the elo. When I start to get to gold 2, hit that wall. That wall is mouse and keyboard players. All right, hackers, DDoSers, all that stuff, yada yada. But that wall, mouse and keyboard players. So going past it. All right, it is what it is. Start hitting gold 2. From that point on, they're like cockroaches. All right, they're just crawling up around everything. All right, that's just it is what it is. And to me, aim assist would ruin what Rainbow Six Siege is all about for us as console players, because like it's the truest test of skill of like getting everything pinpoint accurate and feeling confident and feeling like, yes, I worked so hard to get to this point, not only knowing the strats, but being able to hold my own in these gunfights and make these pinpoint accurate calculations. To me, it ruins some of the competitive spirit of what makes Rainbow Six Siege. But if we're gonna talk about, you know, Ubisoft inevitably coming to the conclusion that this game is infected with mouse and keyboard players, well then, I mean, it's something that's gotta be considered, right? Or at least talked about. At least have some sort of discussion about it. And that's the thing, no one's having these discussions. So I'm sitting here like a madman, rambling off of all these things that have been going on in my mind, because I'm like, well, no one else is having these discussions. Someone's got to talk about it. So I don't know, man. It is one big mess looking at this entire situation and looking at how bad this issue of mouse and keyboard on console is. And it's insane. It's insane because it is an advantage. You know, I have a couple of console friends who are like, hey, it doesn't really matter. You know, I still smoke PC players like they were console players, and that's fair. But it's the fact that Ubisoft has deemed this as cheating, and nothing has been said about it until now. Officially? What? That's insane to me. Multi-billion-dollar company, though. But I think that's all I got to say about mouse and keyboard, because that's truly what prevents me from constantly staying locked into the game. Because eventually, in the middle of a season, I'll just hit this plateau where it's like I'm improving, I'm loving the game again, I'm in love, this is this amazing feeling playing this game again, and then I hit the wall, and I'm just like, what's the point? What's the point of getting better when your games just get worse and the people you fight get worse? But yeah, so I think that's all I got to say about mouse and keyboard players. DDoSing, that is a terrible issue, a terrible issue. We are working on mitigation plans with our partners, and we are continuously monitoring the situation. We have also we've also recently started to issue sanctions to users responsible for such attacks. Yes, keep suing them. Please keep suing them. Keep doing it. I lawsuits at the Petunia. Yes, send them all to jail. I love it. 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 As we stated in our anti-cheat dev blog, this will be a continuous initiative. We are always striving to improve on our detections and are hard at work on developing more reactive sanctions to keep R6 as fair as possible. We started using a new identification method and proceeded to issue bans based on those results. Let's see here, in the last month we sanctioned around 4,000 players, ranging from blatant cheaters to closet cheaters. Enchanté. Battle ticker. Well, going back to this, right? Going back to cheating and hacking. Yeah, man, I don't play on PC that much, but I've seen the clips, homie. I feel for y'all. They said they started using a new method. Ugh. Don't know if we can tell. Battle-Eye Ticker, the system displaying sanctions being applied to cheaters and toxic users is currently disabled. We're working on a fix and we hope to reactivate it soon. Okay. Top gameplay topics, yellow ping. Yeah, so we have received extensive feedback about the yellow ping feature, and we know that it is perceived as strong in certain levels of play when coupled with observation tools. We would like you to explore alternatives to make the feature more acceptable for everyone. We're ready to add yellow ping to the in-game replays in order for everyone to understand that your position was known to the enemy team via the system. We're also exploring additional solutions to try to make sure the feature feels less one-sided, which is good, because the yellow ping feature is definitely very strong, especially more so in higher levels of play. But I see how it can affect lower levels of play, because you just be like, bro, how did I even die? I didn't even know I was there. He must be cheating. And then you didn't even know, oh, he had a yellow ping. Oh, nothing I can do about that. I think the yellow ping system is good, and what I love about ping 2.0, the reason I was so hyped about ping 2.0 is because I could mark something like a drone, a camera, a device, a goo mine, a Capkin trap. I can mark all this stuff and people will know where it is. That's the number one thing I needed this system for, was being able to mark individual items without being able to use my microphone. Because for some reason, everyone has a microphone on console, but never uses it because they don't want to talk. It'd be like that sometimes though. So that's the number one thing I wanted from the system. Being able to free mark with the yellow ping, that's not really something I really need. Especially being able to free mark enemies and all that sort of stuff. Not really with it in that regard. So hopefully they'll figure out some sort of workaround. I'm currently fine with the way things are. My number one thing that I wanted out the system, I'm getting out of the system, but I completely see why people want changes to be made in that regard. Let's see here. Runouts. We would like to move away from the timer to replace it with a gauge system, which is more accurate visually speaking. Okay. Sure, I guess. We're also looking at potentially tweaking the duration of time of an undetected runout, but we are still debating this option. Hey, bro, I don't like spawn peeking. Runouts I'm fine with. That's different. It kind of ends up blurring the line in that regard, the way they're kind of describing the length of time and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, I mean, if we could tweak that, that'd be kind of hot, because I hate spawn peeking.
Then all you gotta do is just stand and spawn.
It doesn't always work, kids. You watch one Coconut Bra video. They have something for every map at every angle. It doesn't matter where you spawn, you're dead. Okay, it's not fun. In my personal opinion, some people like it. I get it. It's a gameplay thing. All right, I get it. I put spawn peekers in the same category that I put campers and Call of Duty. Anyway, so we're getting ahead of myself. Improved flash detection, consistency, diffuser, planting detection improvements. Okay. Prompt when someone is missing. What? Prompt. What? Diffuser. Okay. Interaction with the diffuser can often lead to some issues. In year 5, season 4, we'll address the following ones. Diffuser plant prompt is sometimes missing when the player is on site. Diffusers can be planted outside of the site. Okay, yeah, just fixing general things with it. Okay, boss. Okay. Most of this is just general stuff. Like I said, you can check all this stuff out for yourself. The number one thing I wanted to talk about was, of course, the issue of mouse and keyboard on console, because that's what matters to me the most. That's what matters to me the most. I think it's the most important issue to me as a console player. And someone's got to talk about it. Somebody's got to be a champion. Even someone like myself in this video will more than likely not do very well at all. More than likely people won't even see this video. Hi, if you actually even made it to the end of this video. Do I expect this video to be some massive change? No. Honestly, I'm probably just pissing in the wind and then it's going back in my face, because it's just like, That's what it feels like dealing with Ubisoft and wanting change in your games that you've wanted for years, and not just the excuse.
Well, it depends on Microsoft and PlayStation.
Okay, but are they talking to them?
We don't know. Stop asking for change. Stop asking for more of your game that you spend money on.
Yeah. What a time. But I think that sums up everything I got to say about the degenerates on mouse and keyboard and how they're ruining the game for console. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed this discussion that we had today, make sure you leave a like and leave your thoughts in the comment sections down below. And I would say, if you are a mouse and keyboard player on console, I didn't mean any of that stuff. I'm kidding. I did. I meant every single thing I said. If you were to go so low as to cheat in a video game, like legally cheat, like against developers cheat, that's your character as a person? Hey. What else do you do? Yeah. With that being said, guys, I'm Daniel. Don't forget to get geeky. Oh, also, twitch.tv/GeekSpeakGaming. Catch me playing video games. Get my butt kicked online live at twitch.tv/GeekSpeakGaming every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Might even get my butt kicked live playing some Siege. Maybe these mouse and keyboard players will follow me. Follow me over and I'll get my first stream snipers.
We're gonna get this guy. We're gonna get this guy for saying bad things about us.
We'll see how it goes. All right, I think that's it. I think that's all I got to say about this. All right, guys, take care. Don't forget to get geeky.